welcome back to the channel. We are heading to the East Coast on our coast-to-coast ride for first responders. John, we're in day number 5.
Good.
Do you remember day number 5?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That was a hot day.
Hey, 82 miles.
Yes, a long ride,
82
too.
miles. Well, we'll tell you, we didn't quite go 82 miles, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So we were on the Lewis and Clark Trail Highway.
Right.
We actually crossed over the river to the Washington side.
Yep.
And we stayed at this campground, Maryhill, at some campground there.
Right.
And then we decided to take, there was a huge hill on the highway.
You could see it. It was like
Highway 14 goes right along the river there, and there's this massive climb just up.
Yeah, you
For
could
like,
see it
I don't
from-
know, it looked like 5 miles.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it from the campground too. So it was like looking over us the whole day.
Yeah. So we were like, I wonder if there's another way.
Yeah.
And we found another
Yes,
way.
we did.
So John, what would you say, how would you rate that other way?
Rough. Rough. It was a big gravel stones.
Like
big.
cannonball size.
Yes. We're not talking the gravel you have in your driveway.
But it was flat.
It was flat.
It was right along the
It
river.
was flat, but we got shook to heck
It was
and
a
back.
dirt road,
Yes.
but it was more like a moon rock road.
Yes. I don't know if there was any dirt coming up through them rocks.
I don't
but
know.
It was pretty rough.
It was rough for 6 miles.
I
And
remember that
literally, we got to the end of this thing. I got off my bike and I kissed the pavement.
Yep.
I was so happy.
We got footage too.
We do. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage of the rocky road.
Oh, we were just trying not to kill ourselves.
We were just trying not to die. That's right.
Exactly.
We were just trying not to die.
It was really rough.
But then we got on the highway, and then we were on Highway 14, and right along the Columbia River. You just can't beat it.
No, it was beautiful, and the road was in nice condition, nice shoulder, and just
Yeah,
a
we
nice
still have
ride.
that debate going on, whether it's shoulder or berm.
Yeah, one of the guys
a
I
B
know.
word.
Yeah, I know. One of the guys I know posted and said, "I say shoulder." Maybe it's a Pittsburgh thing. I'm
It
from
must be a Pittsburgh thing,
Yeah.
because have some people from Oregon that said, "Hey, from here we say shoulder."
Okay,
So we'll leave it at that.
we'll leave it at that.
Okay, so anyway, off we go. Careful up there. It was a beautiful day, but it got warm,
It did.
and then
really
it got
warm.
long, and I think we were about 60 miles, close to 60 miles in, a little bit less than 60 miles in, and we saw a town.
We thought we did.
We thought we did.
We'll stop up there at that store.
Yeah, way up there, the store up there.
We thought it was just up the road.
What was it, 2 hours later?
Yeah, it sure
seemed
seemed like it.
2 hours later.
It was just the haze was
It was
playing with our
just-
mind.
Yeah, we were our brains were being, because it was 95 degrees and it was smoky. And I looked on the maps today to look at the levels, because I actually did a history thing, went back, and it was like in the yellow. So it wasn't like the really bad smoke like we had later on in the ride,
Right.
but it was yellow. So we were getting some affected by the smoke, but it was really hot. And that was our first really hot day. And so we pulled into this little Mexican food store.
That's right.
And I don't think anybody spoke English. And we got some water and ice, I believe.
Yes.
And we made a phone call. So Joe and Yvonne came by, our wonderful support crew,
Yes.
and gave us a ride into Hermiston.
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 Yes, Hermiston, Oregon, so back across the river on the south side.
Right. And that was a good bit we still had to go.
I looked today, it was 21 miles.
21 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know if we would have made that 21 miles.
We were pretty spent when we got to that.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. Really impacted by the heat.
Yeah.
And
those forest fires up in Canada.
The forest fires in Canada were coming down. The smoke was coming down, so it was starting to affect us.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was day number 5.
5, that's right.
It's day 6. Here we are leaving.
Day 6.
We are leaving Herndon. Is that what it's called? Hermas something. Hermisstead.
So day number 6, we woke up in Hermiston at the Oxford Suites Hotel.
Had breakfast.
And off we went along Highway 730. And it was an amazing ride. We had 54 miles that day. The first part, was just amazing.
It was.
Right along the Columbia, on the south side of the Columbia River. The views, I don't know if they get better than that.
No. Lots of shade, too.
Lots of shade.
Consider the day before, we liked the shade.
Yeah, because we were kind of riding right up against these rock formations.
Yeah.
That kept us in the shade. And my goodness, we crossed back into Washington at one point.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did go into Washington because Walla Walla's in Washington.
Right. So crossed back into Washington, and then we made a right-hand turn, and that took us all the way to Walla Walla. That was one of our best days.
It was.
Beautiful day. Beautiful day to be riding. Great day. We're almost in Walla Walla. Get there by noon.
We rolled into Walla Walla feeling really good.
And we came by a firehouse.
Yeah.
And the firehouse station number 1, I believe it was. And we just rolled in to this firehouse, and one of the captains came out and said, "What are you guys doing?" Told him, and he was like, "Well, come on in." And then he said, "What are you guys doing for dinner?" And what did we say?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Yeah.
And then he said, "We've been smoking a brisket."
That's all we had to hear.
That's all we had to hear. We were like, "What time's dinner, man?"
Yeah, exactly. We'll be here early.
And we got there. And then Joe and Yvonne showed up, our support crew. It was fantastic to have the big RV right there.
Oh, yeah.
And, have them roll up on the scene, and we just hung out together. And I think, was it that place Yvonne actually went on a call?
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah, she actually got in the truck, and they were going on some call, and so she was gone for a little bit. And amazing brisket. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, very good. Watermelon, all kinds of stuff.
And by the way, Walla Walla, our condolences to one of your firefighters who passed away recently. So our deepest condolences to you guys, and wish you the very best. And the family of this firefighter, may you be at peace. So, but that was really a fun time.
It was.
The other fun thing that happened in Walla Walla was the first time we did laundry.
That's right. I forgot about that. I saw.
Do you remember what happened?
Yes. You got to read the labels on the equipment, because one says dryer and one says washer, and you don't put soap in the dryer and think it's going to wash your clothes, right, Conrad?
Who would do that? Who would do that?
This guy here. And who did it the rest of the trip?
He did the laundry the rest of the trip.
That's right.
Not putting
That's right.
the suds or the soap in the wrong thing.
No.
It was two machines side by side.
They looked
identical.
They looked identical.
I threw the clothes in. It was powder. Fortunately, it was powder.
That's right.
It was powder detergent.
Sweep it up as much as we could.
And we just threw it in there, and pretty soon it went clunk, clunk. I was like, wait a minute, that's not the way it's supposed to sound.
Oh, that was fun.
Lesson learned.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So the rest of the trip, the rest of almost 60 days, John did the laundry.
Yes. And I always made sure I read, no matter what they looked like, I read the sign on
it. It was a
the
lesson learned.
Yes,
so we're very grateful for laundry, because it was nice to have clean clothes.
It was.
So, but yeah, that that was day number 6.
Yes, it was.
We're making progress, man.
Yes, we are. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
That was a good day. You know, my favorite days were the days we were rolling into a fire station. To get to just roll in there and chat with some of these people who are putting their life on the line for us. Yeah. It was just really cool to hang out with them and talk to them and you know, share what we've been doing.
Good morning, everybody. It is day 7 of our coast to coast ride. John, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
So today we're loaded a little bit extra heavy.
Yep.
We got our tents, we have our sleeping bags, and so we're a little heavier today. Our support crew had to duck out for a few days, and so we wanted to make sure we have lodging available. So we are riding up toward up the hills toward Idaho, and we'll be in Idaho sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be in Idaho.
Well, here we are, day number 7. We're just rolling right along 1 week into the ride.
Yeah.
And it went by so fast. And day number 7 was May 21st. Yep. We were in Walla Walla. We woke up there, went to a coffee shop, kind of had to ride around downtown to look for it.
Yeah.
We weren't exactly sure where it was, but eventually found it. Then off we went, Highway 12.
Yep.
All the way from Walla Walla all the way to Pomeroy, Washington.
Yes.
And it was a 3,000 feet of elevation gain that day.
That's hard. I didn't feel like 3,000
I didn't feel like 3,000 feet. No, because it was very gradual.
Right.
And we had a tailwind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, your tailwind kind of takes care of them hills.
Tailwinds are awesome.
Yes.
Not so good when the tailwind's coming at your face.
Yeah, that happens too.
That happens too. But that breeze is...
you don't even feel it till you turn around. I was like, oh.
That's what's been pushing us up this hill.
That's been great, man.
And it was this blue sky and wheat fields. And I remember that part of Washington from some years ago that I was here. And I've always loved that part of the country. Just the green against the blue.
Right.
And just the scenery. Those are the days you can kind of get lost in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And just be riding. And, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of traffic, if I remember. We stopped for lunch in Dayton, Washington. It was actually a cafe right in town. They were right on the main drag. It was a firefighter-themed cafe called the Chief Springs Fire and Irons.
Very cool place.
Amazing calzones we had. Big shout out to the folks there. Mm-hmm. It was a really fun experience to, part of our journey was to connect with first responders, and in some kind of way we did there at this cafe.
Exactly.
But then riding into Pomeroy, small little town, we did find a grocery store.
Yes, we did.
And then we rolled up to the firehouse, unannounced.
Right.
Didn't know if anybody was going to be there, and it was like a volunteer fire company. Mm-hmm. Well, the chief ended up being there.
Right.
And along with some of his people. And so we had a conversation with them, and the chief says, "What do you need?" I don't think there was a hotel in town. If there was, it wasn't one that we really would want to stay in.
Yeah,
maybe.
We were not prepared to stay overnight anywhere. We were just like rolling into town to see what we could find.
Rolling into town. And so we said, hey, we have a place to sleep. We did have our sleeping bags and our mats with us. So he was like, yeah, we got a room in the back. So we camped out.
And there was that neat coffee shop when we got to town.
We had a coffee shop. We had dinner there.
We actually went through and went there. Yeah, that's right. We did go back here for dinner.
Sandwiches there.
That's right. That was a nice little place.
But then breakfast.
Good morning, everybody. It is day number 8 on our Coast to Coast tour. We are in Pomeroy, Washington. A big shout out to the Garfield District 1 Fire Department here and Chief James for hosting us for the night, giving us a place to sleep. And so really grateful for you guys and for providing us a place to bed down for the night.
Day number 8, we left Pomeroy.
Right.
Had breakfast.
And
then we were just a couple miles out of town.
Right.
And I was riding behind you and noticed that your tire was low.
Oh, was that because I couldn't keep up with you?
Yeah.
Because he was leaving me in the dust.
I was flying.
And I was like really struggling. And I was worried. I was like, man, am I just losing it today? And I said, I don't know what's going on. He came back and he had to go behind me. And that's when you noticed my back tire was
a little
flat.
low.
And it only had 20 pounds.
Yeah. And we only had 35 miles that day.
Yeah.
So we were riding from Pomeroy to Lewiston, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
After the climb, it was all downhill.
Yeah.
We had a big climb.
Yep.
But we had a tailwind that day, like a hard tailwind. And we didn't even notice a climb.
No.
It just pushed us right up the hill.
And it was blowing at the top too.
Oh, it was cold. And
yes,
it was blowing.
It was cold.
And once we hit over the top and going down to into the Snake River Valley or into Hell's Canyon, basically.
Yeah, right.
The wind, so we were being pushed up the mountain. So the wind goes both ways, apparently.
Yes.
On a mountain. Yes. Because as we came down, the wind was right in our face.
Yep. Seems like it's against the law of physics, but it was
we
like
had the pedal going downhill.
It was crazy. We were laughing about it.
It was like the craziest things.
Right.
Why do we have the pedal going downhill? This is about a 4-mile downhill, and I think we had to pedal the whole thing.
Yeah, we did.
Because the wind was so hard.
I mean, we'd have coasted okay, but we'd have been just barely rolling. I mean, it was really coming at us hard.
Yeah.
And we were just laughing because we were gotta be kidding.
It was a nice ride all the way down.
Yes, it was.
Into the city. There's 2 towns there. There's Lewiston, and then on there's Clarkston on the Oregon side. And then Lewis and Clark. See there? See what they did there?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then we crossed the bridge into Lewiston, and the first order of business, we came by the firehouse.
Right.
What did we do? And we talked to some high-level guy there, and this was like their headquarters for the city of Lewiston. And then he connected us to the guys in the firehouse, and then they invited us to dinner.
Yes, they did.
So it was great to have dinner plans ready made.
Yep.
Went and checked into the hotel. We stayed at the Hell's Canyon Resort.
Yes.
So pretty nice place.
Very nice.
And the only reason a lot of you bike packers, you're sleeping in tents, and we were really blessed. We had amazing sponsors.
Yes, we did.
Lighthouse Health and Wellness sponsored us, and they gave us enough money to be able to stay in hotels for the most part. Sometimes we stayed in the RV, but it was such a blessing to be able to get a real shower, a real bed, a real good night's sleep, prepared us, because we're 2 old dudes,
Yeah, right. And
camping.
Then we get up in the morning, we have our breakfast, right at the hotel.
Have a cup of coffee right up front to kind of, move the system.
Move the system so we can go.
Yeah, so we can go. Yeah. That was the number 2 thing we did, right?
Number 2.
Number 2.
Wink, wink.
So anyway, back to Lewiston.
Yes.
So one of the first things we did too was we decided to go to a bike shop and get John's bike tires looked at.
Right.
And so we found the Follett's Mountain Sports bike shop. Amazing guys there in Lewiston. And so they pulled John's tire off, and they were like, "So, who put in these tubes in these tires?"
Right.
Well, we said, we had this bike shop back home that, hooked us up.
Yeah.
He goes, "Did they do all the tires?" And we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we better check all the tires, all 4 tires.
Yes.
Well, what happened, we have 1.5-inch Schwalbe tires that we bought. We talked about that last episode. But they put oversized tubes in these 1.5-inch tires, and they folded them up to get them in there. And that, of course, is a problem.
Right. It was causing you'd make a seam or something. And that's what happened to my tire. It actually got a little puncture in it, and it was a slow leak. And so we just said, change out, put all the right tubes in them. And it didn't cost us much to get it done.
No, it was like $100 or so.
Yeah,
they
that
gave
was
us a
it.
discount, I believe.
Which was great. And the guy's name was Alex, I think.
Yeah, so they were fantastic.
Great
So
job.
they changed out all the tubes, and it made us feel better because we were about to head into an area that there weren't going to be bike shops for like days.
Yes, that's right. We had like 4 days.
Across
really.
Idaho, all the way to
Missoula.
Yeah. So, there wasn't going to be any bike shops for a while. So we were very thankful to have this work done on our bicycles and get the proper tubes put in.
Right.
And so we just made a decision that we're not going to ever go to that other bike shop again.
Yes.
That's someplace, back east.
Yeah, we won't go beyond that.
So that's the end of Washington and Oregon.
Yes.
All the way down the Columbia River, hit the Snake River, and now we are in Idaho.
Yep.
And we are ready to do some climbing. What did you think of Washington and Oregon?
Beautiful. Some beautiful country, rivers. Not a whole lot of traffic out in those areas. The shoulders were very nice.
And the bike paths were amazing.
Yes, they were. Oregon was insane.
Yeah. So really, I just love that part of the world. If you ever get a chance to go ride through that area, do that. Get your bikes and get out there and ride. It's an amazing spot. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed episode number 3 of our Coast to Coast ride. Come back next time for our ride across Idaho. And we have some interesting stories there of what happened along the way.
Yes.
And especially when we get to the top of the mountain. And have some funny stories there.
Maybe even pictures.
Might even have some pictures.
So I know I got one.
Just a little tease. Come back. Make sure you watch episode number 4. When you come back, we'll have some interesting stories for you. In the meantime, get out there and go riding and take care of yourself.
Have some fun.